Welcome to the latest episode of Radio Free Shipwreck. This is Matty from the Shipbuilders, and I'm joined by a very, very special guest, friend of Shipwrecked, and one of the main stars of our upcoming Shipwrecked All Day event at Carnival Brewery. I'm joined by Matthew Shaw of Stone Club. Matthew, hello.
Hello, nice to meet you, Matthew.
Yeah, do you prefer Matty? Have you got any preference?
I'm normally Matthew.
Matthew, full name treatment, right? Oh,
yeah.
So, if anyone's followed Shipwrecked or the Shipbuilders, they will have seen over the past year or so us spreading the word of the Stone Club. So for those uninitiated, Matthew, how do you sell the Stone Club? What is the Stone Club?
Well, it started off as a thing that grew out of that time when no one was going out and doing anything. Everyone was sort of locked in their homes for ages. And if they were going for a walk, it was around the block and within a few feet. And as things started to change a bit and it looked like there was a glimmer of something new or something that we recognized from before returning, we were walking a lot to stone circles and walking a lot to ancient sites near where we live. And it just so happened we bumped into lots of the same people, that were really happy to be back out. And I think, like, for a laugh, we made a friend a card that said his name and it said Stone Club and member number. We gave him like member number 2, and we gave him a badge. And it was because I thought there's something really cool about being in a club where you got a badge and a card. Like, when I was at junior school, I joined the Dennis the Menace fan club. And
likewise, the Nasher badge.
The Nasher with the good eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, it'd be really funny if you had one of those for stones. It wasn't exactly a joke, but it was like a fun thing to do for a friend.
Yeah.
And then we posted a picture of it on Instagram, and then loads of people were like, "How do I join this club? Like, what is it? How do I join?"
Yeah.
And so we thought, well, we'll put it up and make it really affordable and ask people if they want to come, but we need to write a bit about what it is. So we were so fed up of everything. We were so fed up of people arguing all the time about whatever it was, whether it was like getting vaccinated or not getting vaccinated. Seemingly no choice in politics, but definitely having an opinion one way or the other. Very and all kinds of things that led to war in the end, and just lots of really binary positions. Before that we'd had Brexit as well, of course. So it's sort of like, God, everything's about this divisive way of separating people. Why don't we have a club where it's all about uniting people with a common interest? And so we chose stones, which might seem quite random, but when we thought about it, we thought, well, these are things that pre-exist national identity in the way we know it, and they pre-exist the Enclosure Acts and land ownership. They pre-exist all kinds of modern religion, and by modern I mean anything that's more than 2,000 years old at least. But and we're not against any of those things either, so it's creating an inclusive space for people to just get into it. So going on a walk with friends is really fun. Going on a walk on your own, you might meet someone that you're interested in chatting to, and if you don't want to, you don't have to, but we've got something in common. And then we found it was really good for people that might struggle getting out or felt isolated or felt it difficult to re-enter public spaces, and also for like kids with autism that didn't know why they were going. It's like, well, we're going to see this stone. It's like, all right, if I know why I'm going, that's one thing. And then there's all these words you can collect on the way, or you can introduce people to what's growing or what birds and all that. So it's like, well, we'll just invite loads of people. Everyone's equal. Someone could be an archaeologist and really good at ancient things, but someone else would tell you what every flower is, or
brilliant, bringing their own speciality.
And a poet will see something that the archaeologist misses, and they can have a chat about it. And and so that was how it started. And then the nights, we started putting on a night at the Social, and it became really popular really quick. And we didn't really know why, but it just seemed to capture a moment where people were looking for something, and it sort of grew from there.
So what's with all that then? were stones a thing for you? Were the things you had an interest in? Because you, for correct me for the listeners, you're in Cornwall, but you're from up our way. You're from Sandbach, aren't you? So
Yeah.
was there a previous interest in archaeology or anything like that?
Well, when I left Sandbach, I left like in my late teens and moved to Manchester, and I
Right.
was just, I was sort of like I was going to gigs in Liverpool, Manchester, Stoke, all over the northwest and the Midlands a bit as well, and I was just like those places were way cooler, than this market town I grew up in. But then with sort of the distance of time, every time I went back, I used to really like visiting the Saxon crosses, these two huge crosses in the center of what was the market square in Sandbach,
Right.
and the 12 pubs as well,
Yeah.
that surround them.
That
But
helps, doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah, it's quite nice of an evening. It's
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I went back there recently to see my folks, and now everyone sits outside, around the Saxon crosses. It's really nice.
Oh yeah.
They definitely left an impression, and and then a few years later, I moved to Dorset when I was doing some music things, and there was a studio I was working with, and I didn't really know my way around at all, and
Mm.
I had a copy of Julian Cope's Modern Antiquarian
Oh
book,
wow.
and I basically used that as a way to go and visit places and sort of join the dots between the different bits of Dorset.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and that was it. That was the thing that really captured me. And actually, just this is I forgot about this, but it's another great Liverpool reference because after doing Teardrop Explosion, Julian went solo. After a little while,
Yeah.
he did a mailing list, and you'd get postcards. And at first, they were just like, "I've got a new single out.
Yeah.
Go and order it." But then he started sending these postcards, and they still might mention a tour or a book or something. But he was like, "I'm writing this book about stone circles," and every postcard, instead of a record cover, would have a stone circle on it or an ancient site. And then he'd say, "Yeah, I'm in Orkney at the moment, and I'm doing these gigs and for the local villagers, and playing all the,
Wow.
playing like treason and rewards and stuff like
Yeah.
that."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, well, how cool is that? I want to do a tour where I can go and visit these amazing places because I didn't know them, but I thought it was so cool what he did, like saying, "I want to make this like completely rock and roll
Yeah.
and help people understand a bit more about the ancient history of these lands and do away with all of the, sort of establishment side, but make it totally rock," as he put it.
Rock. Yeah. That's fantastic. I had some correspondence with Julian. I wrote to him about 2 years ago to try and get him to do a gig for us. And it came to nothing, but he did send me a postcard with a stone circle on, a handwritten note on the back with a picture that he'd taken of a stone circle. I thought that is just so on brand, but he's so committed to it. That's just fantastic.
It's amazing, isn't it? And I love all of that stuff. I love the fact that he went off on this massive trip,
Yeah,
just to
literally.
visit these things. But the tunes are great, the music's great. But what an amazing cultural shift, and
Yeah.
I definitely hold him responsible for that. And yeah, it's funny. I just finished reading this book called Fried and Justified
Mm.
by Mick Houghton, and it's all about him doing the PR for Teardrop Explodes, Second and
Wow.
the Bunnymen, the original Zoo Records roster and stuff like that.
And he
And
lived to tell the tale.
yeah, and there's so many connections. Like he took the Bunnymen off on a tour of ancient sites, and then there was another tour that was in the shape of Echo the Bunny, that they had to do in a certain order. So I was like, some good heritage here in
Yeah,
this.
man. Yeah.
And then all the sort of KLF stuff that Mick was involved in as well. So,
Mm.
working with Bill when he did all those things, and again, great connections there with Merseyside and
Of
Liverpool.
course. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did that kind of trigger off this interest in, you know, your current
Yeah,
interest in stone circles and the like?
yeah. So it was about 2003, 2004. I signed up on the Mod Antiquarian website because the book's amazing, but then I found there's this whole community of people, and they can
Yeah.
post field notes of what they've been doing and post their photographs, and then people were chatting on message boards, and it was maybe less so now. I know it's changing again, but it was such a vital community at that time. It was like
Yeah.
pre any of the social media things as we know them now. And it was just really heartening to see people sharing their interest. And it could be really, you know, like factual, like if you try and get to this site, you have to park in this lay-by because
Yeah.
it's miles from anywhere, or you know, the Ordnance Survey map says you should take this path, but don't because it's full of cows or mud or you know, barbed wire. Take this other one. Or even weird facts like, you know, if you go to visit this site, knock on this door because the bloke's got a key to let you into, you know,
Wow.
into the burial chamber, like one on Anglesey. And
Oh man.
I thought, isn't it really cool that you've got a group of people that all just want to help each other find something
Mm,
that they're commonly interested in? So you know, that was both a massive inspiration and spend ages going on holiday and going out for the
brilliant.
day and visiting places. Wherever I was going, I'd be like, oh, there's a stone near there. I'll go and see it. But at least the other weird thing is it's so common to find other people in bands or, you know, around that are like, oh yeah, I'm really into that.
Have you noticed that? Have you?
Yeah, I think it's true. I
Yeah.
definitely do. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something about thinking about history or thinking about who we are and what we belong to that's kind of normal if you're writing songs. Maybe people who are writing songs are thinking a lot about place and people and belonging and that kind of thing.
Connection. Yeah. 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 I love that. I love what you're talking about, the modern antiquarian website. I mean, coming at it as a newbie, it's quite overwhelming because there's that much information on there.
Mm.
I've tried a few times to kind of navigate my way through it, but I love what you're saying, and I guess this is what I love about the Stone Club in the sense that, not to sound like an old fart and things were better in the past, but like pre-social media, you'd have really niche corners of the internet, wouldn't you, where people really would hone in on their speciality and they devote the time to this one particular thing. And if you needed to know, you'd go on that message board or that forum. Do you know what I mean? Rather than this kind of everyone's saying everything
Yeah.
all the time on Twitter, for instance. But
Yeah.
finding those little pockets it was magic. And I
Yeah.
guess that's what I love about the Stone Club. It feels a bit like that in the sense it is a little corner of the world to to go get stoned, pardon the pun. But
Yeah, definitely. It's I mean, we took inspiration from that and we all and just things we're into. So we were like, well, we started off with the website and it, you know, you could become a member and there was some information on there about things we were
mm,
doing, things that were coming up. But then the first thing we added was a page called Your Stones, where we said if you're a member, and you have to be a member to contribute, we'll have a page on our website where anybody who's a member can send us their name and their membership number and then photographs of their visit to somewhere. They can write a little bit or they can write loads about the visit and what it was like and you know and their recollection of that day or write it on the day and send it through to us. And you know, we've ended up with, you know, I don't know how many there is now, but loads and loads and loads of people from all over, you
brilliant.
know, and all over the world. But it's really nice to share that with the community, you know, that will read it and be interested.
Yeah,
And and it's a really nice way to be able to support people with their interests, you know, and say,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
we'll give that a home. But then you know, as well as that, we'll sort of share it on social media. So I'm sure for some people, they get a thrill out of that. Like, oh, I went on this journey and I took this photo and it's getting shared and, you
Yeah.
know, they're into what I do or they're an artist. So they want to share the artwork they're making. And then, because culture is so important and all the nights we do, they always have music. They often have
Yeah.
authors or literature in some way and film. Um, we'll choose an album every month. We'll choose a film. We'll
Mm,
choose a book, and we'll choose it really carefully, and we'll choose it in a way that shines some kind of perspective on the subject generally.
mm,
Uh, but it might not be as obvious as you'd first you know imagine. We sort of we like to throw curveballs in as well and say we really like this. Like our film of the month this month is Jeremy Deller's Everybody in the Place,
right.
um, and it qualifies because it has actual Stonehenge in it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
although we've shown his other films with sacrilegious Bouncy Castle Stonehenge, and that you know that got through. But the thing about that film, it's basically an incomplete and I think very alternative view of the 90s that's really important because it's all about unions being crushed,
Yes. Yeah.
workplaces being shut down, you know, and then the politics of the time. And what he does is he reframes what was going on with the miners' strikes and what was going on with the emerging acid house culture and indie music, and shows, you know, these sort of communities being crushed economically and also vibrantly emerging with a completely new take on youth culture that's so vibrant and exciting.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's, you know, watching him in that classroom and seeing the reaction, I think it should be in every school.
Fantastic. Brilliant. So this is on your website, the Stone Club's website, and
Yeah.
I can't recommend everyone go to that. There's just a plethora of things to get lost in, references to other websites, films, books in particular. I've bought God knows how many ebooks. My Kindle can't cope with more more data about myths and folk rituals of Norfolk and Devon, or that type of thing. It's just a world to get lost in. It's absolutely brilliant. So you kind of moved on quite nicely to the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is the nights, that Stone Club nights. Because the first time I came across Stone Club, it was at a gig in Liverpool. You were supporting Gwenno, weren't you, on her national tour? Was it you did a few dates with Gwenno, didn't you?
Yeah. I think it was, I don't know, it was around 20 or something like that in the end. I think
Wow.
we went all over. And so yeah, Gwenno got in touch because Lally Macbeth, who co-founded Stone Club with me, Lally designed the Os hat that Gwenno wears on the front cover of Tresor. That last album.
Right. I didn't know that.
And designs sort of costumes and outfits and all sorts of things, really. And then we'd just been doing a little bit with Stone Club at that point. We hadn't been going very long, and we hadn't really DJ'd out. But we'd done a little bit, and we got asked to open Green Man Festival by our friends at the Social. So Lally's first ever proper DJ gig was DJing at Green Man.
Jesus! Wow! Where'd you go from there?
Yeah, I know, and it was really funny because it went really well. And then Lally was like, "Oh, I really enjoyed that. We should do more. We should do more DJing." And then, you know, because Gwenno had asked us to go on the tour, so we went off on tour. But what we did is we wanted to, we really love the idea of celebrating these things, and what better way to engage in ancient landscape than dancing to Stones was the idea. And
it was just incredible. It was because I didn't know what I saw on the lineup. Stone Club, I can't remember the other support act, but it said, you know, Stone Club on at this time. I thought, oh, I'll get down for Stone Club, check them out. And then this projector comes on, and I can't remember what the first track was. It was quite an old, wasn't quite Shirley. It might have been a Shirley Collins song, but it was something like that. And then on this projector is a stone formation. I think, all right, okay. And then there's the definition of the type of stone and the translation into Cornish. And within about 30 seconds, I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I didn't know how much I needed this in my life, but nothing's ever going to be the same again now. And then, as you said, just went on. And by the end, that you were playing Ancients and Justified by the KLF, and everyone was dancing and all these different Cornish terms for different types of rock formation. I'm like, this is the greatest thing in the world, man. I rushed over to the desk to talk to you to try and tell you that. I must have come across as a gushing idiot. I was like, this is just the best thing in the world.
Oh no, it was really fun because we were really buzzing at the end, you know, because you know, it's a funny thing to do in a way, you know, because we're like, we go from, like you say, we go from, like, you know, folk music and really ambient things through to sort of like all these tracks that we just love, and wanting just to create a really good fun atmosphere in the room. And the Stones, we went out and filmed all that ourselves. We went out around Cornwall filming all the Stones, and then because Gwenno had, you know, because all but one song on that last album were all in Cornish and the album before, we thought, well, it's so amazing what Gwenno's doing for Welsh language and Cornish language. So we'll do something that's like a flashcard version of Cornish, you know, like when kids are in. So we'd have the picture of the thing it was, and then we'd have the English words and the Cornish word. And because we loop them, if we do 2 DJ sets, by the second time around, people are like, oh, I know the Cornish word now for that. And it was so fun. And it felt like such an easy way to do it, and you could do it with any language. You know, we were like, oh, we should definitely put, you know, the Welsh language ones on there as well, and other languages that people might want to learn or get a foot in the door with. But yeah, it was a really fun way to do things and mix things up, because things like, the Menon's Hole in Cornwall, it's really iconic. People know it's this hold stone in the center, and then two upright stones and a few
Is that the one
others.
on the cover of Gwenno's Tresor album? Is
Yeah,
that the one that
that's
she's
it.
leaning on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we was like, oh, it's such a good name, Menon's Hole. What does it mean? And then you find the translation, and Main is the Cornish for stone, and Toll is the Cornish for hole. So it's the hole with a stone, or the stone with a hole, or the whole stone, or the hold stone. I think the right one is the whole stone.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and But anyway, it's sort of like, well, I now know what two words are, and I know that that sentence means it's the whole stone,
Yeah, yeah.
So, and in one way, it's like even more romantic for knowing the basic translation,
Yeah.
because you can speak the words of that site in the language of the place you are.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah. I went home that night, and the first thing I did was sign up to Stone Club, so I got my membership. And then I thought, sod it, there's an app, Beginners Cornish. So I thought, right, go on, yeah, because I've been trying to learn Welsh for the past few years. So I thought, okay, right, I'll try and learn. The first word it taught me was the word tin, which is the Cornish word for arse. I thought, oh, right, there we go.
I'm looking forward to this next Shipbuilders record. I can't wait for the different translations and the lyrics.
Well, with the last one, we did a bonus album, and I re-recorded some languages, some songs in different languages. So the Moon is based on the Spanish Civil War, so I got it translated into Spanish. I got
Yeah,
Wild Antiquay translated into Irish. So maybe I can do it. Maybe I can pick your brains, and we'll get a Cornish one for the next album.
that'd be great, wouldn't it? And then you can come down and record it in Cornwall, and we'll shoot a video in the Stone Circle.
Oh, that right, right. You hear the first. We that's absolutely well you to that. So we've got you up, and I cannot wait for this on June the 10th. We're doing an all day in Carnival Brewery. So we're gonna have you interspersed throughout the day, and you're gonna be headlining, I guess, really seeing us into the wee hours. So when it comes to picking music, what makes a song a Stone Club song? What are the credentials?
Well, I mean, we have songs that are literally, in some way connected, either with
Yeah,
ancient places or on that kind of thing. But then we also have just things that we've loved over time, or that we've picked up while on tours. So when we were touring with Gweno, we'd always hit like the secondhand record shops everywhere, and we'd
yeah.
always hit places that are fun. And so sometimes we just end up buying stuff, and we'd play the record for the first time at soundcheck and think, oh, that's great. That
Ah,
put it in the set.
yeah.
So some of the things we play are just, what things we've loved, or things that are connected thematically and connected with folklore or whatever. And some are just like, these are part of the journey of going out and playing
Fantastic. Yeah.
different places. Um, and then yeah, we've got the visuals as well. So,
Oh,
we can
brilliant.
we can bring
Brilliant.
some stones. We'll do something new as well for that day. And yeah, really looking forward to it. It's going to be
Brilliant.
really fun.
Well, we've got up in Liverpool, as you might know, we've got the mythical the Calder Stones in Calder Stones Park. So who knows? Maybe we can sort a little trip out there before the gig.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Let's definitely do that.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. Oh, Matthew, it's nice, nice one. So much for taking the time out. Because we're cheapskates, we've only got free Zoom, so we've got 5 minutes left here. So we'll probably best wrapping things up. But we're going to play a few songs after this chat that Matthew selected for us. So yeah, Stone Club are coming up our way on June the 10th for the Shipwrecked All Day, and then that's going to be the last Shipbuilders gig for a few months while we bunker down for album two. But then come later on in the year, can exclusively reveal we will be heading down to do something with yourselves, won't we? Down in that corner of the world.
Definitely down in Cornwall. We can't wait for that to return leg. Yeah.
Yeah, return like yeah. Brilliant. Oh, Matt, I can't wait to see you and Lally in June. And everybody, first thing you do, before you sign up to the Club Shipwreck Patreon, go and sign up, become a member of Stone Club. Absolutely recommend it wholeheartedly. You get newsletters, you get a lovely. I've got a membership card in my wallet to carry it on me at all times. I was on holiday last on New Year's Eve in Bala in Wales, and I stumbled upon a stone circle, and I whipped my card out and took a picture of it. So wherever I am, if I'm ever get knocked down, someone checks me wallet, the first thing they'll say, "Oh, he's a member of the Stone Club."
Amazing. I love that. Always ready.
Always ready. Oh, fantastic. Cheers for joining me, Matthew, and we'll see you up in June.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Yeah,
Cheers.
see you then.
So that was a wonderful chat with a wonderful bloke, Matthew Shaw, one half of Stone Club, and they are going to be one of the main features in June's All Day Shipwrecked. And Matthew has very kindly sent me some tracks that I'm going to tag onto the end of this, which give you a taste of what it's like to attend the Stone Club stomp. And also before that, before the episode actually started, we had a wonderful chat about Matthew's connection with the North and Liverpool. So I'm going to tag that on now because I was listening back to it and I thought, well, quite frankly, this makes good listening too. So it's a bit of an extended chat we had, followed by a number of tracks, including a track Matthew has remixed himself. So he's done a dub remix of Yama Warashi's individual track. And yeah, we'll put the track listing up on our Mixcloud and Patreon. And until next time, hopefully we'll see you in June. And diddly IA.
Right.
Yeah, Liverpool was like really important place for me anyway, because it's one of the first places I ever started going out to watch gigs.
Oh, was it?
Because I grew up in a town called Sandbach, which
Oh,
most
yeah.
people know it only as Junction 17 on the M6 normally, but and in the 90s, because the services used to be a bit of a rave hotspot, you know, like people dancing on cars on the way to Shelley's in Stoke-on-Trent. But it was really good, and what happened is I had a drum teacher at school called Keith York, and he was like a few years older than me at school. He used to teach me drums at lunchtime, and he joined this band called Dr. Fibes and the House of Wax Equations, who signed to a label called, I think it was called 50 Seal Street.
Oh, right.
Anyway, it was on Seal Street, and it was a management and club promotion company called Club Culture, and they managed a few bands,
Yeah.
And they were one of the bands. They managed the Boo Radleys.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
And I knew Rob because the drummer in the Boo Radleys, Rob, who's still in the band now, he grew up in Sandbach as well. So like I would go and watch my older, cooler mates do gigs. I think there was a place called the Zanzibar.
Oh God, yeah. It was massive. The Zanzibar. It's not long reopened. It's not what it used to be, but yeah, the Zanzibar for a while was like the center of the universe, and as far as we were concerned, yeah.
Yeah, I know there was a bar everyone used to go to called the Bar Bar.
Yeah, £1 shots. Or what was it? One bottle of Stammer in a shop for 150 or something.
Yeah, something like that. It was, and then there was loads of stuff when I wasn't there, like the Invisible Wind Factory. Everyone talks about that as being an amazing venue, but I went to have a look. I think it's still the same place, but there's like a recording studio and a small venue that's part of what used to be a big venue. Is that the Invisible? No, fuck, what's it called? The Casimir Gardens.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that used to be the Casimir. That was a fantastic venue, absolutely fantastic. Yeah. But as with most things in Liverpool, we've got knocked down for flats. So
yeah, I saw pictures of that club. I know a guy called Andrew Ellis who lives in Liverpool, and he manages various bands and puts things on. He used to DJ and put things on a lot in that venue. And then I went to look around it, and there's still a small venue there now, isn't there? That looks really cool.
Yeah, the Stock Room, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. It's not that the Cavs was when the Cavs went. That felt like the death knell for so much of Liverpool, and that's why little places like the Brewery we're playing in, or places over the water like Future Yard, that seems to be the future, pardon the pun. Because when the Casimir went, that was just ripped out the heart of the scene type of thing, but. It was ever thus in Liverpool, it seems.
Yeah. So where did you first start playing? Where was the Shipbuilders origin place? Was there a particular club or scene that it sort of came out of?
Yeah, there was a venue called Sound Food and Drink, and it was right by the Casimir. And that was like the hub for all the bands around our size. Yeah. And bands like She Drew the Gun kind of started off there, and it was, you could go in anytime, day or night, and there'd be someone from a band you'd know and chat with, and it was fantastic. But again, that's gone now. I think it's a takeaway place now. But that's for a while, and then they opened a basement venue underneath, and that never really quite took off. But it used to be it was just chaos in there, in the best possible sense, you know.
Yeah,
absolute chaos. But alas, that's no more as well. So Yeah, there isn't really that at the moment, which is a real shame. There used to be, that pub where you go to or bar, and
Yeah.
there'd always be someone you'd let onto, or you'd have formed a band by the end of the night. You'd have formed a band because the Shipbuilders name comes from the Elvis Costello song "Shipbuilding," and
Oh yeah.
I've told the story many times, but that came from the night Thatcher died. We happened to be in there with our guitars in
Yeah.
sound, and they were playing all songs from that era. And one of the songs that got played was Shipbuilding, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good name. That's a
Yeah.
good, yeah." So that's like that felt like our spiritual home sound. But all
Oh,
right,
I love that. I mean, I love that song. I love the Robert Wyatt.
Yeah.
You know, that version is, well, like what a song and what a moment as well to hear that song.
Yeah, very apt. Yeah. And I was in another band at the time, but I thought, well, if I ever do it again, we're going to be called the Shipbuilders, and here we are. Here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
Father, Father, build me a boat that on the ocean I'll go and float, and every king's ship that do pass by, there I'll inquire for my sailor boy. I hadn't been sailing but half an hour before I met a bold man of war. Captain, Captain, tell me true, is my sweet William on board with you? No, kind lady, he's not here. That he is drowned most breaks my fear. The other night when the wind blew high, that's when you lost your sweet sailor boy. I'll set me down, I'll write a song. I'll write it neat and I'll write it long. In every verse I will shed a tear. In every line hope, sweet William dear. She wrung her hands and she tore her hair, just like a lady in deep despair. A bird against the rocks did run. How can I live now my William's gone?
Marijuana fooling around and stone circles in the air. Light the fader on the bums around the raiders, stone circles in you. I like the night time when it's a bright time, but I like the daytime, it's such a great time. Morning, miles, afternoon, stone circles in you. The creaking, the floor, the blonde is dreaming, stone circles in you. I cut my heart and I bleed my streaming of love, stone circles in you. When you feed my rise every time, but the wrong colors, the beat in its daytime, leaving to the afternoons, stone circles and you. Now I like to wake at 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, some people disagree with their heads full of E, but when I'm waking up now, I'm still yawning. Stone circles and you. Stone circles and you. Woman of mine made a woman of mine, and I was so to feel a great time, leaving doors and even noon. Stone circles and you. Stone circles and you. I keep telling you now. Stone circles and you.
What an hold to well a horn, it was the crest when you was born. Your father's father wore it, and your father wore it too. Alanto, jolly rumbaloo, we were up long before the day, oh, to welcome in the summer, to welcome in the May, oh. The summer is a-coming in and winter's gone away, oh. What happened to the Spaniards that made so great a boast, oh? Why, they shall eat the feathered goose and we shall eat the roast, oh. Alanto, jolly rumbaloo, we were up long before the day, oh, to welcome in the summer, to welcome in the May, oh. The summer is a-coming in and winter's gone away, oh. Robin Hood and Little John have both gone to the fair, oh, and we will to the merry green wood to hunt the buck and hare, oh. Alanto, jolly rumbaloo, we were up long before the day, oh, to welcome in the summer, to welcome in the May, oh. The summer is a-coming in and winter's gone away, oh. God bless and Mary Moses and all her power and might, oh, and send us peace to England, send peace be day and night, oh. Alanto, jolly rumbaloo, we were up long before the day, oh, to welcome in the summer, to welcome in the May, oh. For summer is a-coming in and winter's gone away, oh.
When I went to the party and I wanted to dance all night, so I swiveled my hips and I shook 'em all down to the ground.
I'm a 15-year-old kid and I'm going to work. I'm on the 7 o'clock bus into town, and there's a little lad who walks to the bus stop as well. He must be 11 or something. He's off to the grammar school. Me and him are walking to the bus stop, and the next thing, we both look up, don't know why, and we see this thing going zip, zap, zap, zip, stay there, flash, 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 zoom, stay there, flash, 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 zoom, 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 and then on. And we looked at each other, we never spoke or anything, we just looked at each other and then got on the bus. The light shining off a dot leaf that's zapped round Jupiter, gone on to the House of Commons, zapped back round to Pluto, and then shined on a cloud. Zip, zap. Zap, zip, zip, zap, zap, zip, flash, 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 zoom, stay there, flash, 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 zoom, stay there, flash, 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 zoom, 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 zip, zap, zap, zip, stay there, flash, 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 zoom, stay there, flash, 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 zoom, 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 and then on.